So the final race of day number 2, race 8, it will be Ainsley against Burling yet again. INEOS Team UK and Emirates Team New Zealand on your right-hand side of the screen, getting ready for the pre-start. I'm sure that Peter Burling will have thought about what happened last time, Nathan Outridge, and will just want to get this one right. They want to get all their ducks in a row. 3 minutes to go. That's the warning. The port boat will be the boat of INEOS Team UK. I'm sure there's some English fans in there that are supporting Britannia, and Kiwi fans as well supporting Emirates Team New Zealand.
Definitely critical here that these teams enter on time. You don't want to be giving penalties away in this kind of start. You can see here in the pitch, the only boat we see right now is Emirates Team New Zealand. They are coming down on their foils. Britannia coming here on port tack. Looking like both points foiling and on time.
It's 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go. The porting for both will be INEOS Team UK that you can see to the left-hand side of your screen. The starboard entry will be Emirates Team New Zealand. Coming now, and they're on time. INEOS Team UK.
Not quite across here, Ben.
A couple boats actually kind of on time here, but it looks like a real big left wind shift, which means it's hard for INEOS to actually get down into the box dangerously close to the starboard tacker Emirates Team New Zealand, but they get themselves across.
Watch the exit, Ben.
2, 1, board down,
so Ken, what that's going to mean is this leeward end of the line, the left-hand mark as you look up screen is going to be the favoured end of the start line. That's going to have you closer to the start. And already we're seeing a very quick manoeuvre from INEOS Team UK. They are already trying to get over to this side, but risky positioning because you're giving away starboard advantage. If you get out this way too far, they could be controlled by Emirates Team New Zealand.
I'm surprised at that maneuver. Maybe it's because the boundary is so tight in that upper right-hand corner, as we were just looking at the screen, that they decided they had to get themselves back in the box here a little bit.
My roll, your wheel, Ben, your pitch. 1 minute to start. Okay, mine. Powering up. Come up.
Fascinating that the boats are this interactive. They're absolutely going at each other, and you know, it's really, you know, when you guys were doing the catamarans, you kind of set up in the last 30 seconds or so, there would be kind of a push, hook, no hook. Yeah, but this is real maneuvering.
But the big difference is the starting box here is so much smaller than what we had in Bermuda. They don't have as much space to operate in. Bad jibe there from Emirates Team New Zealand. They're a sitting duck right now. If Ben can get the pace on and attack him, could be a good lead here for INEOS Team UK off this start. Neither boat can cross the starting line on starboard tack right now. That's how big this left-hand shift is. And Emirates Team New Zealand up parked.
Trouble for Emirates Team New Zealand at the start of race number 8, and it's all for INEOS Team UK as the countdown goes. 4 seconds to go, and they are in the box seat. INEOS Team UK with their best start of the regatta so far, and they are away. Emirates Team New Zealand getting up on the fours, are they? Keep watching.
Mine. Coming up here. Yeah, master 10.
There's a feather in the cap of INEOS Team UK, outmaneuvering the Kiwis. We haven't said that very often. And you notice, for those of you back at home, why didn't they just head up and go over the starting line? Because there's such a big wind shift to the left, to this side of the course, that they couldn't even get across the line. So that's why both boats ended up starting on port tack.
Give me a bit more out of the text, boys. Yeah, we're just not trimmed up, mate. Yeah, no.
Let's go down to Shirley. Shirley, what a pre-start.
-1 to 0 feet.
That's what we're talking about. When they first introduced these designs, no one thought they would even sail. What we've seen today is incredible, isn't it? Really full-on match racing manoeuvres. And you know, Ben Aisley, ex-world champion in match racing, he just read the course, he realised what he had to do, and boy, he did well to position right at the right place, and
numbers coming quick now.
So good to see.
He just absolutely taught Peter Burling a lesson there in how to manage a pre-start. He knows he might not be the fastest boat today, so right now that's all he can do is win those starts, get away and Let's see how long he can keep Emirates Team New Zealand behind.
Well, he told us in the interview, didn't he? We think we're a little off the pace right now at this stage in our development, and really it's one of the only bullets we got in the gun right now. Let's go after him in the pre-start and see what we can do. And he mucked it up, and sure enough, it worked.
He fits the America's Cup man for being a fighter, doesn't he? Being able to fight today, he has shown there is fight in his dog. And Britannia are flying away at the moment. 348 metre lead on Emirates Team New Zealand. Just a note too, this will be 6 legs, not 8, it's 6 legs. We're on the upwind leg at the moment, 1 of 6, and it's Emirates Team New Zealand are doing the chasing. We're going to get a good indication too. We always talk about how quick this boat is. We'll get a good indication today how quick Te Rehotai really is.
I think, Stephen, what we're also going to learn is how much of an advantage it is to be in front. You know, if Ben Ainsley's out in front, he's got fresh air, there's no pressure on him right now. They're just going to get round this track and go as quick as they can, and it's going to be a boat speed race, at least for the first lap. We'll be keeping everyone updated on the timings at the marks to see how much Team New Zealand can come into them. But man, I'm still getting over that pre-start action. That was fantastic.
Shirley Robinson, Ben Ainsley will be relishing this right now. He's a fighter, isn't he?
Oh yeah. We've seen it so often. I mean, I went to the press conference last night, Stephen, and looked in his eyes, and I've seen that before. You know, when he's on the back foot, when he's frustrated, he often finds a real extra gear. He goes into kind of street fighting mode, and we've seen that in that race. What a phenomenal, great execution. Read it really well. And let's see what happens now.
You know, you're almost tempted to sort of rework a phrase. You know, 24 hours is a long time in America's Cup racing at the moment, isn't it? Considering what we saw yesterday at the INEOS Team UK and what we're witnessing right now.
Well, that's exactly correct. We've been hinting at it, but this is finally proof that a day is just a huge amount of time. In a development class like this, so much can be done. There's so much data, there's so much information and great coaching. And again, we've mentioned it before, but hats off to their shore team, who for sure pulled an all-nighter just to make this boat sailable and get it out on the race course today.
INEOS Team UK, they will be the first to hit the top gate at leg 1 of 6 of this 8th race of the America's Cup World Series. We're on day 2. Can INEOS Team UK bag their first win? That will be the question. But you've got to say, it looks like Emirates Team New Zealand are closing fast. But it's INEOS Team UK rounding the mark first. And heading down, wind on the second leg of 6 in this 8th race.
Okay, powering up. Yeah, hold that, John.
And in comes Emirates Team New Zealand. Poor pre-start has cost them. And they are 12 seconds behind. But in these boats and the way they go, that's doable.
Yeah, that's actually quite a big comeback. We were concentrating on the Brits and not really paying much attention to Emirates Team New Zealand as they came roaring up from behind. So listen, Ben called it early. He knows that they have a little speed deficit today.
Well, it was some 400 metres, it's now under 70 metres now, so Te Rehotai quick.
It'll be super interesting, Nathan, to see if he does stick his elbows out or he just keeps trying to play wind shifts here. Really, if you think you're in a slower boat, if you think you can maneuver with them, you actually start tacking and jiving all over them. But this is getting chewed up really quickly.
Here on board already, possibly having to go behind me. Emirates Team New Zealand approaching on starboard tail, right of way. Let's listen on board, see what happens here.
I think he'll go. Okay, coming up slightly here. Copy. He's coming up hard. Heavy for the rebuild. Some pressure this way. Copy. I think we'll make that coming away. Yep.
And we have a lead change.
Coming on. Just wait. Nice left. Well done, bird. Okay, I think we'll just run us out all the way. Pressure looks good. I think we go to boundary here.
Yep.
So Shirley, from the water, more pressure to make that difference, or is one boat just going faster?
Got it. Okay.
Well, we were right beside INEOS when they jived, and they hung around on 2 miles for a really long time. And to me, they lost massive distance right there at then. We also heard Ben say, lads, let's just do the best we can. You know, the Kiwis are smoking down here, but I think, you know, the Brits have an issue in those manoeuvres. They're 2 boards forever.
Well, they're on starboard tack right now, so if they can keep it close and get, it looks like they had a little wind shift there, but that doesn't make it look quite as good as the other beacons did it.
Potentially later, sir.
Yeah, just Emirates Team New Zealand look like they've put the hammer
we want to
down
make sure we
on the
lay that
downward leg of 6. 2 of 6
quick on target
after trailing INEOS Team UK around the top gate.
Some great chat coming off INEOS. They're talking about if they can lay the bottom mark without another manoeuvre, that's going to save them a lot of distance. So they're really trying to work the low mode, trimming the sails on, sailing a lower, faster mode, and they have a starboard tack advantage here. I think we're going to have another tight situation here at the bottom mark.
Starboard tack, INEOS Team UK.
Not much lower than that for me.
Leaders just shrunk in front of your eyes.
Going behind, says Burling. There you go, another lead change.
Good pressure building.
So if INEOS lay in here, they've taken the lead back and they're going to lead around the bottom mark. It's not over.
We're not there yet. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. Good pressure here.
500 metres from the bottom gate.
You heard Glenn on Emirates Team New Zealand say they're not there yet. They think that INEOS is going to struggle to get down to this mark.
Which flips the coin again in Team New Zealand. On the starboard tack, INEOS Team UK going to jibe, but they'll have the inside of the right-hand mark coming down to the bottom mark here. This is going to be a hard manoeuvre.
Good luck calling this one, Stephen. Welcome to sailing.
Come down. You got him? Yeah, going behind him and going to the left mark. Copy.
Another lead change. They just couldn't couldn't do that maneuver. Jibe twice.
Emirates Team New Zealand. Rounding the bottom gate ahead of INEOS Team UK, but it's only by mere seconds. Just before. They are making a race at this. Race number 8 as they head up to the upwind leg. Leg 3 of 6.
When they weren't going to lay the mark, Nathan, they didn't have a choice there, right? Kiwis jibed onto starboard.
Can't get any more trick in the nose of
and they couldn't have pulled off a jibe maneuver and tried to keep to the inside. They did what they could only do, and that was take the transom and around the other mark.
Definitely the safest option to do that. Keeps them in the race for much longer.
Fight another day, right? Live to fight another day.
Should get a bit of puff soon. Copy.
It'll be a marginal cross, probably behind. Depends on the day.
Copy. Starting to get puff here.
He still carries on.
Only press there. It's a boundary, say that. I can't quite see it. You've got 22 seconds. We'll come quick with the down. Copy. 15. Okay, stand by.
He's gaining bearing.
2, 1, 4 down.
Okay, he's tacking down, so it's going to be probably bow on bow. Probably 15 seconds to making a decision. So he's crossing behind us at the moment. You're right. Easily crossing. Easy cross by 6 lengths.
So wasn't that fascinating where the Emirates Team New Zealand voices were the ones we heard, and they thought they had that INEOS had a piece of them on starboard tack, but it just looked like their tacks and jibes just aren't quite up to speed yet.
I guess Glenn Ashby, who's sitting to leeward, who was talking us through that whole setup, was saying, should we bow to this? And I guess they're thinking, if that was us and we tacked, that's where about we would be, but they probably weren't calculating that maybe INEOS Team UK aren't tacking at the same level. They completed the tack, they're a little bit low in the water, as Shirley said, leeward board hanging in the water a little bit too long, and eventually Emirates Team New Zealand make an easy cross. Shirley, how's it looking on the water? Can you see differences in moding or tacking abilities between the two boats?
Yeah, I mean, I think you've already said it, Nathan. I mean, upwind and downwind, the Brits just seem really sluggish through those manoeuvres. It's also slightly different now. The sun's come out, a little bit less wind. It's really patchy on this left-hand side, and you know, I think that's adding to the inconsistency of those manoeuvres.
Copy. Okay. You're pushing it once here, guys. Right on the edge here with these, unfortunately. Okay, 21.
We're right on the edge here with these, unfortunately, which I think he means they're close to splashing down. They all have smaller jibs on right now, And certainly, surely the breeze just feels like it's slowly settling down. They both look a little bit underwicked right now with their headsail choice.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, speaking to some of the guys on board, that headsail choice is so difficult. The crossovers between them, and there's 6 to choose from, is absolutely critical. It's like a knot and a half between each. And if you get caught, you know, you're in trouble.
Surely we can see your chase, but you might want to get out of the way there. They're going pretty quick.
I think that every moment of the day, Stephen.
They have 6 to choose from. I think they need 10 or 12 to choose from wearing my other hat.
Trying to get 31s.
Big crowds in at the Auckland Village. Enjoying this racing. Emirates Team New Zealand seemingly in control of this one with a lead of 270 metres on INEOS Team UK, who have shown major gains today in both their races. This one's not done yet. We're on leg 3 of 6.
Straight line, they look okay though, Nathan.
I think it'll be tight for us.
It looks like a pretty, for sure, they had a great start. But just in pure boat speed in this race, INEOS looks like they made a step forward even from the last race.
The numbers we were just seeing there look almost identical. 32 knots for both boats going upwind. What we really need to dissect is angles. Are they doing the same angle upwind, or is Team New Zealand just sailing higher, doing less distance? Or is the real game coming in these manoeuvres? Shirley's already picked it up from on the water. Foil's in the water for longer. Too much time with 2 boards down for INEOS Team UK. If they can start to refine the manoeuvres and get that board up sooner, then they're going to be losing less distance around this track.
3, 1 and in. Right turn. Yeah, copy. Pressure looking on that low press. Yeah, it looks fine. Copy. He looks to be set for that left turn. We'll split right. Yeah. Dash on in 3.
This is being set up for a split tack at this top mark, Stephen.
It's interesting that just off that north end, it gets a bit light, Jello. Yeah, copy that.
The trail for the first time.
How far off line here?
In control of this race.
Lay line now, you'll
stand by.
Yep. 2, 1 more down.
Right hand marker as you see it.
Turning.
Around the head down to begin leg number 4 of 6. Just keep an eye on the clock on the bottom right of your screen to see what the distance they have, the edge they have on INEOS Team UK, Britannia.
It's course.
Britannia now entering the top gate.
Yeah, yours. Coming up, lads. Yep. Bearing away in 3. Quite light out of this, lads. 1.
Won the start. But you've got to win the race. 31 seconds the edge that Emirates Team New Zealand have on INEOS Team UK.
Big difference from the first race today, ladies and gentlemen.
Pressure's okay. That's a nice angle there. No,
the demise of Ben Ainsley might be
my pitch
dramatically exaggerated. How's that?
Oh, completely. Yes, there was 1 minute 32 loss and all the talk about
10 seconds to drive.
The CANT system and everything like that, but their shore team has done a magnificent job, and they've just dug in. They have just dug in, and everything's working fine, and show what they can do and what can become of this team.
So, Nathan, I have a question for you. It's in between races. You got a 2-race day with all this data and all this computerization and hydraulic systems. How much change could these boats make in between races out on the water, or do you really need to go back into the compound and regroup and kind of settle in there?
I remember from our days when we're racing in Bermuda, we could make changes to software on water. It was always a risk if you got a bug when you do it, but if you weren't happy about the speed at which that, say, CANT is coming up, the windward foil, we're watching Team New Zealand drive here, if you're not happy with how fast that comes up when you push the button, they have the ability on the chase boat or back at the dock to just program a few different numbers and you can get it to come up faster if you want. So I wouldn't be surprised if between races they've gone and had a chat with their designers, a chat with the data review team and said, look, we want to improve this and this. They can make a few little tweaks on the boat, you do a few laps, happy with that, and then you get onto it. So it's not just sailing techniques that can change, it's how you basically program the whole boat.
Program the boat. Who would ever have thought you'd be hearing words like that? Programming the boat. These are special boats. They are futuristic boats. You're seeing racing like has never been seen before. 75-foot foiling monohulls, and they make a magnificent sight, particularly when you look at the speeds they're doing.
We've had lots of great comments here in the commentating
Small
booth.
building, 5.
It's late in the day. Commentator booth about hull shapes.
Yeah,
Like, we're going to get into hull shapes, and we're going to get into foil shapes, and we're going to get into rudders and everything else. But one thing we can say
I think it's okay.
These two boats are flat out weird looking, and it's somebody, the creativity that has gone into designing these boats, and they kept the rule quite open on purpose. The creativity that's gone into it is nothing shy of unbelievable in my eyes.
Pressure still looks okay on that left.
Almost a 500-metre lead to Emirates Team New Zealand on INEOS Team UK
22 seconds.
as they really do fly into the bottom gate and start the penultimate leg of 6.
Way back, so we'll give the Leylon a little bit.
It makes a beautiful sight. Looking down at the spectator fleet ringing this course C.
Okay, stand by, bloods. Okay,
Happy here, Ben. Happy.
As Emirates Team New
2,
Zealand
1 more
drive
down.
the mark round 8.
Turning.
Coming.
Around they go. Peter Burling on the helm. Blair Tuke, the fuel controller.
Really smart tactical call right there coming into that gate, Nathan, that they actually overstood a little bit just to take the big disaster of touching down out of play. So if you go beyond it some, you always have the ability to heat the boat up, and by that I mean turn up towards the wind and keep more pressure in the sails and keep the boat out of the water. If you cut it too close, you can splash down, and there's nothing you can do about it. You got to round the mark.
1, go board down.
We'll go down. Your wheel. My pitch. My pitch on exit.
Britannia or Rita, you can see the Rita highlighted, named after all of Ben Ainsley's Olympic boats, and it worked quite well, didn't it? Britannia,
2,
with Rita in the middle, and they a tiny bit of a splash down there. Not the cleanest rounding of the mark, but they're up and going again.
I think we want to go far here.
That's still the fascinating part when you don't really have an understanding of hydrodynamics and fight to see these boats get up out of the water straight away and onto the foils.
Okay, stand by.
Honestly, the difference in how they're sailing this boat today compared to the last 4 or 5 days, and that includes the practice sessions, the practice racing that we saw prior to this event even starting, it's just dramatic how much better they're sailing the boat. So it's really very impressive, and every day they'll learn more. Yes, the lead is getting away from them, there's no question, but like we've said many times here, there'll be plenty of positives to take out of this.
Yeah, Ken, what we're actually seeing here is the guys sailing a boat that's working underneath them. You know, they've said for almost a week now they've had fundamental problems with their boat, and we've all been there as sailors. When we sail a boat that's not working properly for you, it actually makes you look like a really bad sailor. And you could see Ben in the press conference yesterday, he just had that look of like, I know what you all think, but it's not as bad as it looks, and once the boat starts working again, we're going to be fine. These guys have been here for months, sailing and training. I've been watching all the teams, and INEOS has looked really good at times out on the race course. They've been manoeuvring really well. What we never knew was how fast each of the teams were relative to each other, because they weren't allowed to line up against each other. So what we're seeing here now is, okay, they've got a bit to do in terms of speed, probably a lot to do in terms of speed, but at least the boat's functioning again, and they'll just have to keep chipping away.
And we have to put this in context too, and this covers all teams. There was supposed to be 2 regattas before this, 2 World Series events. So there would have been time for a lot of development, a lot of understanding of the systems of the boats, what they can and can't do as they develop boat too. So what we are seeing is a lot of development in front of our eyes.
It'll keep happening every minute of every day until you're either holding that trophy, sipping champagne or mum champagne out of it, or sent home. There's only two ways this ends.
And they're all going for that first option, aren't they? They all want to drink that champagne. But I'm sure that's the furthest thing from their minds at the moment. They're just focused on making these boats go fast, eliminating their errors and their manoeuvres, and this is the second day of racing. Team New Zealand have 2 more left, and then after that they're on their own.
Yeah, you wonder what they're going to practice. It's very clear that hand-to-hand combat is far more aggressive than maybe even they thought. These pre-starts are real. And you better be sharp going into it because people are going to learn moves and learn how to maneuver in ways that maybe these guys never even considered. And what's Burling going to do?
Well, he hasn't had a good showing in the starting box yet, has he? Whenever there's been a close combat, it hasn't really gone his way. He's got 2 more days to make up for that. And there's only so long you can be just doing pre-starts against your chase boat. Their boat one, as far as I understand, is sort of mothballed. They can't bring that back out and do any 2-boat training. They don't have enough sailors in the team to do that. So they're just going to have to watch other teams and learn from their mistakes and hope that their boat's a lot faster so they don't have to engage at all in the pre-start.
Turning.
Gotcha.
Yours.
Firstly when I've got it, yeah. That'll build it.
Stephen, you're looking at me saying, was that a good tack or not? You know, we saw the boat touch the water, it got a little bit of leeward heel. Everyone who watched that probably is going, yeah, not perfect, but they're still foiling, they're still going fast. They'll analyse that, but it's not the end of the world.
That would fall in the good enough category, right?
Yes, but good enough. You don't want good enough, right?
You're becoming quite a critic here. In your young life as a sailing commentator, Stephen, you're becoming quite a critic.
Not going to be called that. Just sitting here in my lane doing my job as Emirates Team New Zealand for the last time. Coming into the top gate, and then they'll head downwind for the final run. And race number 8 of the Prada America's Cup World Series. Around they go and head home. It's a Friday afternoon in Auckland, New Zealand. It's a lovely day. It's the 18th of December as we head towards Christmas. And boy, watching these last 2 days, and especially today, Ken, if you're a sailing fan, you feel like you've opened plenty of presents today because we have been treated today.
The text messages coming in are fast and furious, like, hey, real racing, you know. But I think a few people got a little bummed out, or a little too early, I might add, because this is just early days and the type of racing we're going to see. But we're bummed out by some of the lopsided races we saw yesterday. But listen, man, this is just starting, and I just like the pre-starts. I like the aggressiveness and how these guys are absolutely willing to throw these boats around as if they were sailing in their Tetros or sailing in their, in their keel boat. It's fantastic.
Well, Nathan and I will take note of that you love aggressiveness. If you put your elbows out, we'll stay well clear, Ken.
It's a shame he's sitting in the middle, isn't it? Because he can reach both of us.
That's great. You guys better be careful. Could get dangerous in here.
20s.
INEOS Team UK for the last time edging towards that top gate. And they knew they were off the pace. Subin Ainsley, their helmet said they knew they were off pace, but their gain today has been nothing short of miraculous considering what happened in the last 24 hours. 1 minute and 31 seconds behind Emirates Team New Zealand. The win in the earlier race was 1 minute and 32 seconds.
These grinders, what a brutal day, right? You think they're swapping out? I didn't even look at the groups on board. How many people are they swapping out from race to race? Because they got to be whipping these guys, right?
Yeah, I think generally there's 2 crew rotations between the races. It's pretty much max out heart rate as much as you can do in the entire race. And so generally they're switching 2 of the grinders between the races, just like having reserves in a rugby game. You've got to keep the guys fresh and keeping the power coming into the boat. Shirley, I want to come down to you for a moment. We're seeing New Zealand really getting away at this point. Do you think it's got anything to do with the wind strength slowly dropping? And can you see any differences that's happened throughout the day?
Nathan, no. I mean, I just think whatever's thrown at them, they can adapt and go well. We spent quite a long time going upwind directly behind them. I mean, an amazing spot. And to me, they can get more mass bend. The main setup's more versatile. They can ride out those puffs, and we saw it yesterday, and we're seeing it today. They are fast.
It's holding like this.
They are fast.
Yeah, I think we're fine going to boundary.
Thanks, Shirley. Yeah, Ken, we'll definitely need to dive into those details, how they're controlling the sails, how they're adjusting the camber, how they're bending the mast. There's lots of gadgets and tools on these boats to really manipulate the sails to change the power. Today's probably not the day for us to get into that, but at some point we will need to explain a number of these things, and we've got to learn ourselves. We don't really know all the details of how these boats work.
Okay, cool. Alright, so transfer the arrow, or you?
Emirates Team New Zealand get double delight today. They are 2 from 2 against INEOS UK and make it 3 wins out of 4 in this America's Cup World Series, and they do it in style. The difference now is, how big is that gap? It was 1 minute and 32 seconds in the last race. What will it be this time? Because they had the hammer down on that last leg.
They continue to be fast. Everybody knew they were going to be fast coming into the event, and the very limited sailing that the boats did against each other. The word on the street was the Kiwis have pace, and they're doing nothing really to show otherwise.
INEOS Team UK will repeat it again. Subenese said they know they're a bit behind on pace, but what we have seen today has been almost a resurrection of morale for this team after yesterday. All the talk at the press conference last night about foil can system seems to have just gone away. And why shouldn't it? They've got the job done. They are up, they are sailing, they are racing. That's what they are here to do.
Yeah, Stephen, you're right. It's a huge step in the right direction for these guys. They're going to feel happy that the boat's functioning and that they're sailing it well, but man, they're going to go home tonight and say, right, okay, tick that box. How do we go faster? What do we need to do over the next few weeks to make sure we can race these boats and not just go around the track with them?
There's those questions of how can we go faster must be every day for years. How can we go faster? How can we go faster? Well, most important thing today for INEOS Team UK, they are racing. And they will come in behind Emirates Team New Zealand, and the final distance is 1 minute and 42 seconds, so a little bit behind on the first race, but they're home and they're home clean.
Yep, well done.
Nice work, guys.
By the Brits.
No, we didn't get the results, but sailed pretty clean race today.
You heard Ben Ainsley right there. Nice job, guys. We didn't get the result, but we had a couple clean races. That's baby steps. Ready to break out and get that boat going faster.
Confirmation of the final race on day 2. It's race number 8. Emirates Team New Zealand make it 2 from 2 over INEOS Team UK. The margin this time, a 1 minute and 42 second gap.
So the start did not disappoint yet again, Nathan, and we had a little bit of action. We actually had 2 boats that came in somewhat on time for the first time. We had all kinds of twisting and turning, and the Kiwis off the foils, and off goes the Brits. Ahead at gate number 1 with a nice little lead, but you could kind of hear it in Ben Ainsley's voice. He wasn't expecting this lead to stay, was he?
No, definitely not. Emirates Team New Zealand not very far behind at the top mark. And leg 2 was the interesting one. Emirates Team New Zealand take the lead, being on starboard tack. INEOS Team UK take the transom, go across to that far boundary, and later on down the run, the same situation occurs. Port starboard, coming to the bottom gate, they split gates. Emirates Team New Zealand had starboard tack at the bottom gate, took the right of way, which forced INEOS Team UK out to the right-hand side of the course. And from about this point onwards, it was just managing damage, and Emirates Team New Zealand just continued to sail away, showing really good boat speed.
Yeah, a bit of a parade from here on in. Just slow, easy extension, maybe not so slow and not so easy, but certainly an extension for these guys who pop over the finish line, win themselves another race, and now, more importantly to them right now, Stephen, they're back to tied for the overall lead in the regatta.
3 out of 4, that's Te Reo Tai, American Magic Patrick, 3 out of 4. Let's go on board Te Reo Tai. Good day at the office, Peter.
Yeah, I've got you, mate.
Good day at the office.
Yeah,
ACTV.
Yeah, I wouldn't quite go that far. You know, we obviously learned a lot in those couple of races, and definitely didn't sail as clean as we did in that first one yesterday. But it's just good learning for us. Good to be out here, kind of running through all the systems and trying to get everything working 100%. And I think we showed again that the boat's definitely plenty fast enough in that last one.
I knew I was going to ask this. That splash down and kind of getting off the foils. Again, was that a mechanical, or was that some sort of mental or physical on board the boat? How did that all happen?
Yeah, it was just actually poor execution by me. So something that thought we'd be able to get around there, and then probably didn't quite give the boys enough time. But it's something that that's what it's all about. Obviously the start box is incredibly small on that side, so you're doing some probably less than conventional approaches, but it's pretty good fun all the same.
Hey Peter, it's Nathan Outridge here once again. Congratulations for the race win. You got 2 days left training with all these other teams, or racing with these other teams. What are your main takeaways from the first 2 days, and what do you really want to work on over the next 2 days?
I think it's just tidying up all the little things and bits and pieces we're making mistakes on. After this event we can carry on working on speed, but it's definitely making sure that we're where we want to be in terms of a tactical sense, and how we're making the decisions around the racetrack. So we're pretty happy with most of it, but it's just tidying up those little details.
Thanks, Pete. Give us a smile, by the way.
Thanks, mate.
There you go. Thanks, Pete. So let's go on board Britannia now. Helmsman Subenense, who we get to chat to again, and huge gains by this team today, Ben.
Yeah, it was a much better day for us. The boat was working much better, and guys did a pretty good job sailing the boat clean. Obviously, it was struggling a little bit still for pace. Well, quite a lot for pace. More so in the lighter airs. So, we've got a lot of thinking to do about how we can get more speed out of this boat. But I was really pleased with the step forwards. Team New Zealand certainly are the class act, or appear to be the class act at the moment, performance-wise. So for us to have that opportunity to try and make those gains, that's really important.
Hey Ben, Nathan Outridge here. We gave you a little bit of stick in the commentary booth in the first pre-start when you were quite aggressive, and it maybe potentially backfired on you. That start just there was pure class. You just absolutely schooled Peter Burling. What was the key moment in the pre-start where you nailed him? Like, how did you pull that off? It was incredible to watch, but tell us, how did you do it?
Well, it's a really tight start box with this course C in this wind direction. And so we actually had a little bit of a plan in terms of being the port entry boat, and Pete came round, tacked in underneath us, and then it was really actually about executing that jibe, doing a tight jibe round up. And our guys did a great job. We pulled it off, and the Kiwis fell off the foil, which is pretty much the key to it. But it's really intense. It's good fun actually. Those starts in these boats. It's been pretty full on.
Great to watch. Super day for INEOS Team UK, Ben. We'll see you tomorrow. You're up against Luna Rossa first up.
Thanks, guys.
Going around the track today, Nathan, here's the fun part. We look at the Kiwis pretty quick, upwind, pretty quick downwind, and actually sailed a little bit less distance. Again, those are and did less maneuvers. So if you need a recipe for a race win, that is pretty much it, and it turns into a minute 42.
Yeah, exactly. I think what we saw probably on the first beat was with that higher mode that they can sail upwind, they can avoid that extra attack, which gives them less distance, which gives them higher boat speeds. And yeah, man, there's every column there is a gain to Emirates Team New Zealand.
Over 40 knots on both boats, though, in about 9 knots of wind speed.
That's impressive.
Yes, and the big dips are the ones you want to get away from, and I think this really shows the maneuvers. These maneuvers here are the bad maneuvers. More of them, let's put it that way, than Emirates Team New Zealand. There it is again. These big dips in boat speed are the ones you're trying to avoid, It's really, you know, every single time, every time there's attack and every time there's a jibe, you can see that the Brits are still coming out of those maneuvers slower than Emirates Team New Zealand. So that's something that they're going to look back on the data and they're going to figure out how they can get through these maneuvers, because the boats are the same weight. They got to figure it out.